guess I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Jam?
Man, I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I went on a bomb of the month tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
Well, you've been on tour.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Mike, Rim, salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, the life and career of Esteban de Jesus, the great Esteban de Jesus, and not in the Hall of Fame, I might add. But how's the family today? It's Friday. We're right at the end of another big week of boxing history. Time for the profile. The great Esteban de Jesus, the only man to beat Roberto Duran in the 70s. And did I tell you he's not in the Hall of Fame? Incredible. I still think he's in there. I just keep looking at that every day. I don't know. I just don't understand that. What is the criteria? Esteban de Jesus not in the Hall of Fame. But we're going to talk about his great career today. And y'all decide whether he should be in the Hall of Fame. We're going to look at what this man did as a professional boxer today. I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame, but anybody in here will get to see for themselves whether he belongs. Okay. Thomas Hill. What's up, T. Hill? Salute. We're going to look at Esteban de Jesus today. And we're going to see if he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I think he does. That was, I remember a while back, I wanted to address this before, because this kind of been bothering me. I remember a while back, all these half-ass 2-bit content creators was making all these Boots ducking Virgil videos. They wasn't even the same division, right? And Virgil was talking trash about how he looked bad, that guy looked bad against Kern. But now, Boots is going to 154. His promoter, Eddie Hearn, stated they wanted his first fight at 154 to be Virgil Ortiz in August, a few months ago. Virgil or his team said Virgil wasn't ready. So Boots' team said, okay, when you get ready, let us know. But now Virgil is talking about fighting Earl Spence. So where's all these half-assed 2-bit content creators videos about Virgil ducking Boots at? Now Virgil was talking trash when Boots was safely at 147. But now that Boots is at 154, all of a sudden Virgil forgot Boots' name. He wants Earl Spence, a man that looked terrible in his last fight. Haven't fought since 2023. That's who Virgil wants to fight. Where's the Virgil ducking Boots videos at? Any of you you know who you are. Any of you half-assed 2-bit content creators that made Boots ducking Virgil videos that don't make the Virgil ducking Boots videos don't know shit about boxing, and you're bad for boxing. Keep the same energy. Okay? Now Boots is at 154, calling out Virgil. Virgil said, I want to fight Earl Spence. If you're scared, say you're scared. Virgil saw what happened to Stanionis, and that will be him sitting on that stool not coming out for the next round. Or if he do come out, that'll be him laying on the mat. So, yeah. Remember all those Boots ducking Virgil videos? They wasn't even in the same division. Now that Boots is at 154, all of a sudden Virgil done forgot his name. He wants to fight Earl Spence. We want Boots versus Virgil. Forget Earl Spence. We want Boots versus Virgil. Keep the same energy, Virgil, and you half-assed 2-bit content creators that was making all the Boots ducking Virgil videos. You are bad for boxing, and you don't know shit about boxing. Okay, but now for the highlights of boxing history, because there was a lot of them out there making those videos. But now all of a sudden it's crickets. Virgil wants Earl Spence, but Boots is calling out Virgil. Now they're in the same division. Virgil's energy has changed. Energy has changed. The drunk Irishman in the building. Come on, let's keep it 100, man. These type of content creators are bad for boxing. One make one video, then the next thing you know, 100 of them made the same video over and over and over. But now it's crickets. Boots is at 154, calling out Virgil. Virgil wants Earl Spence all of a sudden, and it's crickets from the peanut gallery. That kind of stuff bothers me, man. Keep the same energy. So let's go to the highlights of boxing history. Today we are at the junior lightweight division, 130. Okay, we're gonna look at the top 10 fighters at 130. Let's get into it. The man's energy to change. Virgil, I want to fight Earl Spence. No, you was talking about Boots. That guy didn't look good against Kern. He's in your division now. No. We don't want to hear about no Earl Spence. We want Boots versus Virgil. Okay? Virgil know what's up, though. He'll be the next victim. In the corner, not wanting to come out like Stanionis. And if he comes out, he's gonna be laying on the mat. The energy has changed. But junior 130, junior lightweight division today. Let's look at a quick history of junior lightweight first. Junior lightweight, super featherweight, 130. Little history. This division was initially created by the New York Walker Law in 1920. However, some records state that it first appeared in Europe around 1914. Johnny Dundee beat George Cheney at Madison Square Garden on November 11, 1921 to become the first junior lightweight champion. Now, after the division disappeared and reappeared in the following decades. Now, the modern version of the belt was officially introduced by the National Boxing Association, NBA, on July 20th, 1959. Carl Gomes defeated Paul Jorgensen for the vacant World Super Featherweight title. The WBC established its version. The NBA was turned into the WBA. Now, the WBC established its version of the belt in 1968, the IBF in 1984, and the WBO in 1989. South African fighter Brian Mitchell holds the longest title reign with 12 title defenses at 130. Longest title reign, 12 defenses by Brian Mitchell of South Africa. Now, notable super featherweight champions throughout history include Flash Elorday, Alexis Arguello, Julio Cesar Chavez, Diego Corrales, Marco Antonio Barrera, Azuma Nelson, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Okay, those are some of the big names that's held the title at 130 over the years at one time, among many others. We're going to talk about the current champions at 130 right now. This is the CAS Sports Top 10 Active Junior Lightweights. Okay, let's get into it. Then we're going to look at Esteban de Jesus. But first, we're going to look at the top 10 junior lightweights. Okay, that's Emmanuel Navarrete. That's Emmanuel Navarrete again. He's number one. Number one, what's up, the drunk Irishman? He said, I don't know how Carlos Palomuno and Pipino Cuevas are in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and Esteban de Jesus isn't, right, drunk Irishman? I don't understand that. How Esteban de Jesus isn't in there? Them two and many others. You know? Ingemar Johansson's in there. How in the hell is Esteban de Jesus not? We're going to look at his career in a few minutes, right? And everybody decide, should he be in there? But at number one at junior lightweight, Emmanuel Navarrete. The current WBO super featherweight champion, known for his aggressive, relentless pressure fighting style. 39 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 32 knockouts currently. 82% knockout ratio. Okay, number two, 130, O'Shaquie Foster. That's, you know, O'Shaquie on the left there. Wait a minute, let me get that out of here. We don't have to keep looking at that title for the entire show. That's, there it is, yeah. Okay, O'Shaquie is number two, O'Shaquie Foster. Known as a slick outboxer and a good defensive fighter, Foster is the current WBC super featherweight champion. Current record, 23 wins, 3 losses, 12 knockouts. Okay, coming in at number 3 at junior lightweight is Lamont Roach Jr. Lamont Roach Jr. Roach is the current WBA champion in the division. He's known for having a well-rounded and intelligent boxing style. 25 wins, just 1 loss. two draws. One of them against Gervonta Davis in his last fight, 10 knockouts. Hopefully we're getting that fight again. But Tank had some legal difficulties again, so we got to see what's going on with that. But hopefully it was supposed to be in August, so we'll see what happens going forward. Number 4, Robson Conceição. That's Robson O'Shaquie. Robson on the left. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. What's up, Bruce Gas? In the building. Salute, bro. Good to see you today. We're going to look at Esteban de Jesus. But right, we're looking at the top 10 of the 130 junior lightweight / super featherweight. Number 4 is Robson Conceição. Okay? Now, Conceição is a former super featherweight champion. He has an aggressive boxing style rooted in the Cuban style, skill base. 19 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 9 knockouts. Number 5 is Anthony Cacase. There's Anthony. Okay. Anthony is the first ever Irish super featherweight champion after holding the IBF title from 2024 to 2025. 24 wins, just 1 loss, 9 knockouts. Number 6, Eduardo Nunez. Eduardo Nunez. Okay, on the left there. Nunez is the current IBF champion in the division. He's a knockout artist, and only one man has gone the distance with him in his pro career. Okay, 28 wins, 1 loss, 27 knockouts. Only one man going the distance. 96.4% knockout ratio for Eduardo Nunez. Next is Eduardo Hernandez, also known as Rocky Hernandez, right? Rocky Hernandez is a Mexican boxer known for being an aggressive pressure fighter with good power. 37 wins, 2 losses, 32 knockouts, 86.4% knockout ratio for Rocky Hernandez. Coming at number 8 is Charlie Suarez. Just got robbed against Navarrete in his last fight. He should have that title. Now Suarez, and I hope they run it back. Could be an immediate rematch. Suarez is a Filipino boxer and member of the Philippine Army. Yeah, he's an active duty Army down there in the Philippines. He is the current WBO International super featherweight champion. 18 wins, no losses, 10 knockouts. Got that, what was it, a no contest against Navarrete that he just had? Okay, number 9, Jaza Dickens. There he is on the right there. Dickens is a British professional boxer. He's known for his relentless, swarming, pressure fighting style from his southpaw stance. 36 wins, 5 losses, 15 knockouts. And rounding out the top 10 at 130 is Raymond Ford, newcomer to the division. Raymond Ford. Ford is a former champion at featherweight, 126. He's a slick outboxer with excellent hand and foot speed. 17 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 8 knockouts. Lost his last fight at featherweight. Stayed too long. Lost his last fight to Nick Ball. Remember that one? The 5 versus 5. And Frank Warren beat Eddie Hearn 5-0. I think Ford and Ball was the last fight, wasn't it? Yes, that's completed the sweep by Frank Warren over Eddie Hearn. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Esteban de Jesus, and we're going to see if this man belongs in the Hall of Fame, which I think he does. We're going to look at his career, right? Freaking now. The great Esteban de Jesus. Okay. But yeah, got what like four? Is it like four cards this week? I know we got the Manny Pacquiao and Burrios, and we got Usyk and Dubois. I think we got a couple cards from London. I know we got one women's card headlining the card from over there. I think it's another one. Yeah, from the UK this weekend. So we're going to be busy. Watching boxing this weekend. Yeah. Okay. Right. I got to get this chat going. Okay, there we go. Who's the profile on today? I forgot. Oh, Esteban de Jesus. I didn't forget. Yeah, Esteban. I was mad he got in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand it. What's the criteria? Do they make it up as they go along? This man beat Roberto. The only man to beat Roberto Duran in the 70s. Maybe he should have got in there just off of that. Nah, but yeah, he had a great career. We getting ready to talk about it now. I think. Come on, Esteban. I'm sitting up here talking all this trash, trying to get him in the Hall of Fame. I can't even get him to come up. Esteban de Jesus. There he is. Okay. And then Esteban is not a long one. We're going to look at his trilogy with Roberto Duran today, too. We're going to look at the lead up to the fight and the aftermath of all three of those fights in that great trilogy they had. Esteban de Jesus and Roberto Duran. Yeah, we're going to look at that today, too. Yup. They fought 3 times in the 70s. And Esteban lost the second fight, but he put Roberto on the mat in the second fight. Yeah. He beat him the first fight, put him on the mat in the second fight. And then Roberto won the second and third fights of that series. But yeah. And they hated each other. But, you know, after their careers, they made up. Roberto Esteban was on his deathbed. He died from AIDS, and Roberto went and visited. Well, I'm telling the whole. Let's talk about it. All this going to come out in the profile. Okay. Esteban de Jesus, the life and career. Now, he was a Puerto Rican world lightweight champion boxer. De Jesus was a native of the town of Carolina, Puerto Rico. He was a gym mate of Wilfredo Benitez and was trained by Benitez's father, Gregorio Benitez. And De Jesus was the first boxer to defeat Roberto Duran as a pro and the only fighter to defeat Duran during his lightweight reign. Okay, like I said, Duran lost 1 fight at lightweight, and that was to De Jesus. Okay, now De Jesus' career was mired in controversy, problems, and scandals. Okay, now let's look at he was other names, Vita, right? Now he fought in lightweight and junior welterweight during his career, just 2 divisions. 5 foot 4.5 inches tall. He had a reach of 67 inches. Fought in the orthodox stance, and he had a total of 62 fights during his pro career, right? He won 57, lost 5, and he had 32 knockouts. That's the Esteban de Jesus, okay? All right, let's get into it. It's not a long one. We're going to talk about the trilogy today, too. In time, if we have time, we're going to talk about some other great Puerto Rican fighters. We're talking about the great Esteban de Jesus today. Okay, let's talk about his pro career now. For Esteban. Okay. Now bear with me. Okay, here we go. He debuted as a pro in 1969. He won his first 20 fights, 13 by knockout. He then stepped up in class for the first time when he boxed future world title challenger Jose Marquez in 1971, beating him in a 12-round decision to claim the Puerto Rican National Lightweight Championship. His next fight was a 4th-round knockout win over Victor Ortiz. After that, there was a rematch with Marquez, who was beaten again, also over 12 rounds, to retain the Puerto Rican lightweight title. Okay? Another fight with Marquez, another 12-round decision. Okay? Next came his first international fight in Caracas, Venezuela, against the future 4-time world title challenger, Leonel Hernandez. Jesus won the 10-round fight by unanimous decision in what was the start of a 4-fight tour of Venezuela. That Venezuelan campaign ended with a 10-round decision loss against former world champion Antonio Gomez in Caracas. Now, 1972 was a pivotal year in De Jesus' career. He won 6 fights in a row, including a 12-round knockout win in a 3rd fight with Marquez to again retain the Puerto Rican lightweight title. And he won a 10-round decision over Doug McClendon. Now, despite all the wins, he was virtually unknown to most boxing fans. But that changed quickly in his last fight of 1972 against the undefeated New World's lightweight champion, Roberto Duran, at the Madison Square Garden Arena. In a televised fight that marked the beginning of the Duran-De Jesus trilogy, De Jesus dropped Duran in round 1 and went on to inflict Duran's first defeat in a 10-round decision. Okay? So he became known. He beat the great Roberto Duran. Well, Roberto wasn't the hands of stone or anything like that back then. That was just 1972. Okay? Check the chat real quick. Okay? All right. In 1973, De Jesus was rewarded for his efforts, receiving a chance to challenge Ray Lampkin for the North American Boxing Federation lightweight belt. Yeah, the NABF was a big thing back then, you know, the early 70s. That was like almost like a major championship then. Yeah. He won the vacant title by beating Lampkin in a 12-round decision. He went on to beat Johnny Gant and Raul Montoya in 10-round decision. And he beat Lampkin by decision in a rematch in New York. De Jesus finished 1973 with a 1st-round knockout win over French contender Al Foster. He began 1974 by knocking out former world junior welterweight champion Alfonso Peppermint Frazier in 10 rounds in San Juan, Puerto Rico, after which he traveled to Panama City to receive his first world title shot and, at the same time, faced Duran in the 2nd fight of their trilogy. This was his first title shot because the first fight against Duran, where he beat him, was a non-title fight, okay? So the 2nd fight in the trilogy was De Jesus' first title shot, first major title shot, right? Okay? Now, once again, he dropped Duran in the 1st round again. But this time, Duran rebounded and dominated the fight, retaining the title in an 11th round knockout. Now, De Jesus recovered from that defeat to Duran with 2 more wins before the end of the year. In 1975, he went up in weight briefly, and after beating Jesse Lara by a knockout in 3 rounds, he returned to Panama City to challenge Colombia's Antonio Cervantes for the world's junior welterweight title, losing in a 15-round decision. He beat Rudy Barrios by knockout in round 5 to end that year, and started 1976 by beating Valentin Ramos by knockout in round 2. Next came his third world title try when the WBC's world lightweight champion, Ishimatsu Suzuki of Japan, traveled to Puerto Rico to defend this title against De Jesus. The third time proved to be the charm for De Jesus, who won the world title by beating Suzuki in a 15-round decision. He retained the title against Hector Medina with a knockout in round 7. Now, De Jesus admitted publicly to using drugs during his boxing career. He began using cocaine and heroin early in his boxing career with an older brother, Enrique. In 1977, De Jesus retained the title against Buzzsaw Yamabi by knockout in round 6, and against Vicente Majares Saldivar by knockout in round 11. (1978) began with the third and final chapter of his trilogy with Roberto Duran. In a title unification fight in Las Vegas, which displayed Duran at the peak of his power, Duran systematically broke down De Jesus, resulting in a 12th round knockout. And we're going to look at all 3 of these fights deep in a moment. The lead up, the fight, and the aftermath, all 3 of the trilogy. That's why I didn't go too deep in them right now, because we're going to go into them in a moment. Now, De Jesus rebounded from the third Duran loss with 3 wins before the end of that year, including one over former world title challenger Edwin Viruet. In 1979, he had 2 more wins, including one over Jimmy Blevins. After beating Jose Vallejo by a knockout in round 7 in San Juan, Puerto Rico to start 1980, De Jesus traveled to Bloomington, Minnesota to challenge Saul Mamby for Mamby's WBC World Junior Welterweight title in the major supporting event of the Larry Holmes Scott Liddell World Heavyweight Championship fight on the undercard, right? Yeah, they was on that undercard of Holmes Scott Liddell. Remember that one? Yeah. Did I go past where I was supposed to be at? Okay, we'll rectify that. Now, bear with me for a moment. Let me check something out. Okay, no, I didn't. There we go. All right. Okay, so yeah, he fought on the undercard of Larry Holmes Scott Liddell. That was 1980, right? Now, what turned out to be his last fight, the last fight of his career on that undercard of Holmes and Liddell, he was beaten by a knockout in 13 rounds. Now, his record was 57 wins and 5 losses, with 32 wins by knockout for his career. Esteban de Jesus, okay? But I told you it was short, but we're going to look at him and Roberto Duran's trilogy. We're going to get into that in a moment. But crime, commuted sentence, and death. Like I said, he had some controversies in his career. Now, on November 27th, 1980, in what became a famous case in Puerto Rico, after having injected himself with cocaine, De Jesus was involved in a traffic dispute with 17-year-old Roberto Cintron Gonzalez, which ended in De Jesus fatally shooting Gonzalez in the head. De Jesus was sentenced to life in prison. There, he excelled in another sport, baseball, making the Puerto Rico penal system all-star team 3 times. In 1984, he became a born-again Christian and started to turn his life around, becoming a preacher. In 1985, he learned that his brother Enrique, with whom he had shared needles, had died of AIDS. DeJesus tested positive for the virus and symptoms began to appear. After it became public knowledge that DeJesus had acquired HIV and had become a sufferer of AIDS, Governor Rafael Hernandez Colon commuted his sentence. After returning to spend his last days with his family, DeJesus was visited by many celebrities, including Hall of Fame baseball player Orlando Cepeda, salsa music superstar Tio Feliciano, and his old nemesis, Roberto Duran himself. Duran hugged and kissed DeJesus and told his daughter to do the same. And this was significant because at that time, nobody knew how you could get AIDS. Everybody was scared of AIDS. Everybody thought they had AIDS. And Roberto Duran hugged him and kissed him, right? And nobody knew how you could catch it, whatever. Nobody knew what AIDS was at that time. And told his daughter to do the same, okay? This event was witnessed by Jose Torres, who said he was amazed to see Duran's compassionate gesture as he lifted DeJesus out of his bed and hugged him at a time when so little was known and so much feared about AIDS. Esteban DeJesus died 1 month later after being released from the hospital at the age of 38. And there you have it. Life and career of Esteban DeJesus. Now we're going to look at that trilogy with him and the legendary Roberto Duran, The Hands of Stone. Yeah, we're going to dig deep into this trilogy now between these two great champions. And Esteban DeJesus is not in the Hall of Fame. Mike Masick is in the building. What's up, Mike? I just don't believe it. Just off of his 3 fights with Roberto Duran should have put him in. Like the drunk Irishman said, man, those other couple people in there, how in the world is Esteban not in there? Yeah, but Pino Cuevas, Carlos Palomino in there, like the drunk Irishman said, but Esteban DeJesus not. You know, that guy that Floyd Patterson fought back in the 60s is in there. I can't even think of his name. And he in there, and Esteban ain't. But it's ridiculous, man. But let's look at this trilogy between Esteban and Roberto Duran. Okay? You know, I gotta get my tablet. I gotta get my gas guzzler, my tablet. You can see the hand moving from 100 to 0 on this thing. You know how you them big old gas guzzling cars, you be driving and the gas and be going toward E? That's how this charger is. This tablet is on the charge. You be looking at it and it'll be 100, 60, 50, 10. You're like, damn. Yeah, this thing goes down fast. But yeah, Roberto Duran versus Esteban DeJesus. Classic trilogy. Back in the 70s. I lived through this. Yeah, Bruce Gass did too. Right? This ain't nothing I saw on YouTube or anything. I lived through these fights. And in the 70s, you know how fighters nowadays talk about I'm him and this and that. In the 70s, Roberto Duran was him. Trust me, he was him in the 70s. You know, I saw that unfold. That was awesome. Watching the Roberto Duran in the 70s, the Hands of Stone. That's why I like him so much, because I saw it in action. When these fights was going on, we didn't know what was going to happen, what was the result. Yes, I was right there. Okay, rivalry. The tale of Duran versus DeJesus. Okay. Duran versus DeJesus. I say do Jesus. It's the Jesus. And if we have time, we're going to have time. We're going to talk about some other great Puerto Rican fighters. Since we're on the Jesus today. Okay? But I appreciate everybody for coming by today and supporting the show. Hit the like, subscribe, Cash App, Super Chat. But hit the like and subscribe. That's the main thing. I'm good with that. Okay? Like and subscribe. D for the win. What's up, D for the win in the building? Yeah, we just talked about Esteban de Jesus' life and career. It was a short one, but now we're going to look at him and Roberto Duran, that classic trilogy they had, The Hands of Stone. You know, D for the win, I was just saying how these fighters talk about they, him nowadays and all that. In the 1970s, Roberto Duran was him. He was him, okay? So let's look at it, this trilogy him and De Jesus had. Duran versus De Jesus, a rivalry in 3 chapters. Now the prologue, okay? Now the story of boxing is a history of rivalries, and rivalries themselves are stories. Now during the contentious years of Hitler and World War II, Joe Louis and Max Schmeling made boxing history as representatives of 2 very different societies. Later, Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson thrilled sports fans with a rivalry that stretched over 9 years and helped usher in the television era when their final fight, the famous St. Valentine's Day Massacre, was watched in living rooms all across America. Decades later, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, in perhaps the most intense rivalry ever, highlighted racial and political conflict during one of the most difficult periods in American history. Say that again. Yeah, I was around. I was a young child, but I was around then during that time. It was terrible. I remember the TV every night. Vietnam was, and they showed Vietnam on TV as it happened, the battlefield, man. And that was terrible. Bruce Gas can tell you. We was watching the battle in Vietnam unfold on the news every night, man. Yeah, I was a little child, but I remember that, man. Yes. We watched this war on TV every night in our homes. Yeah, Vietnam. Okay, but let's continue. I don't want to hear about that. We all want to hear about Esteban de Jesus and Roberto Duran. But I'm trying to talk because I lost where I was at. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to get started in one moment. Started running my mouth. I can't find the image. Okay. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, bear with me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't get my place back, but I'm going to get it. Oh, I see what happened. There we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Now, yeah, that period during Ali and Frazier was one of the most difficult periods in American history. Okay. But some rivalries are characterized less by politics and more by national pride. Boxing has long been enriched by the territory south of the American border and the fiercely proud pugilists from Latin American nations. There, the young men who fought their way to the top of the fistic landscape often found themselves the new folk heroes of the impoverished countries They reared them. Thus, whenever they competed, they no longer did it for themselves, but also for their nation and their people. Panamanian boxer Roberto Duran and Puerto Rican boxer Esteban de Jesus found themselves embroiled in one of boxing's great rivalries. Over the course of 5 years, these two proud Latino legends faced off on 3 occasions. Each fight is memorable for its ferocity and for how it impacted each man's career. But the rivalry would ultimately be defined as much by what happened outside the ring as by the punches they exchanged inside it. And I promise I'm not going to lose my place again. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, defined by what happened outside the ring just as much as by the punches they exchanged inside. Okay, let me see here. Terry Akers, my favorite sister-in-law, is in the building. Then Al Booger is in the building. And then Unc Dre Finest is in the building. What's up, Unc Dre Finest? The legendary Unc Dre Finest is here today. What's up, Dre? Haven't seen Dre in a while. Always a pleasure to see Unc Dre Finest. Yes. Doing great, Dre. Doing real great now to see you today, bro. Salute. We talking about we started with the life and career of Esteban de Jesus, but now we getting into that trilogy between Esteban de Jesus and Roberto Duran in the 70s. We're just getting started with it. We're going to dig into that deeply. The lead up, aftermath of all 3 fights. Okay? Now, chapter 1. Let's lead up to get into their first meeting between these two. Legendary series. Chapter 1. Now, Roberto Duran began his career in February of 1968. A fluid, aggressive lightweight who packed a big punch. Roberto quickly whipped up domestic support on his way to receiving a world title shot. And by the time he fought Ken Buchanan in Madison Square Garden for the world title in 1972, Duran boasted an impressive record of 25 knockouts and 29 wins and no losses. After 13 violent rounds of rugged infighting, Duran emerged as the new lightweight champion of the world. Okay? Yeah, he got his title. He beat Ken Buchanan for his first title. Duran did. Okay? Esteban de Jesus was born and raised in the town of Carolina, Puerto Rico. And Carolina was just as famous for its penchant for violence and crime as it was for being the birthplace of Roberto Clemente. Remember the famous baseball player Roberto Clemente? Esteban de Jesus from that same hometown, Carolina, Puerto Rico. Now, de Jesus saw action professionally for the first time a year after Duran. It would then rattle off 26 straight wins before he ran into Antonio Gomez. Gomez, the WBA featherweight champion at the time, was too steep a step up in competition for the talented Puerto Rican Esteban de Jesus. In the aftermath of the Buchanan fight, times were good for Duran, and Roberto found himself arguably Panama's most famous man. The fame and money attached with that level of celebrity, ironically, comes with a heavy price. Roberto was surrounded by those more interested in the spoils than the hard work it took to attain them. And these distractions proved costly. Okay? These distractions proved costly because there's the first fight against de Jesus. And guess who that is on the mat? That's Roberto. Okay? That's who that is on the mat because Roberto was known for parties after big fights and stuff. And after he won that first title against Buchanan, he went out and partied and wasn't in the best of shape when he fought De Jesus. Similar to the rematch against Sugar Ray Leonard, remember? Sugar Ray got him right back in there because Sugar Ray had heard how Duran was up there partying. And Duran was like over 200 and had to get all the way down to 147. And he was weight drained and everything. Okay, so let's continue. Now, perhaps aware that the fighter needed some time to adjust to all this, Duran's handlers looked to protect their investment. A title fight was put aside for the time being. The official reason given that Duran intended his first defense to take place in his home country, and instead he took a series of tune-up fights in Panama. Yeah, so after he beat Buchanan, his handlers saw how Duran was all out of shape and everything, so they wouldn't give anybody a title shot. They put him in some tune-ups and stuff, right? In September and October, Duran recorded back-to-back first-round knockouts, and talk turned to who would become his next victim. This time back in America, Esteban de Jesus was a reasonable choice, as his Puerto Rican roots built up a decent fan base for a moneymaker fight in New York City with Duran. Okay? De Jesus had just recorded a win in Madison Square Garden some 4 months earlier, right? So the Esteban de Jesus was starting to make a name in New York, and they was wanting to make the big fight with him and Duran up there, so he was a very viable choice for Duran's first big fight after he won the title, okay? Once his handlers got him in shape and everything. So, but then disaster struck, and Duran risked not just the upcoming fight, but also his life. Driving up a hillside in his homeland, Roberto veered off-road. The resulting injuries, while not severe, should have postponed the fight. Duran suffered lacerations to his lips that required stitches, as well as an elbow injury. Now, customary to the Duran mythos, he shrugged off the injury, had a few drinks, and then made the trek to America. Right? Duran said, don't postpone it. Let's have it. So the first Duran versus de Jesus clash took place on November 17, 1972. Their 10-round non-title fight would be the headliner for a Garden card that also featured future Duran opponent, Vilomar Fernandez. Now, what the crowd of 10,000 saw next would be history in the making and a catalyst for one of the greatest feuds in lightweight history. So yeah, Duran had that accident, and he didn't put the fight off, but it wasn't a title fight. His belt was not on the line in the first fight with de Jesus, which de Jesus won, okay? But the title was not on the line. Now, before the opening bell, attention was given to the featured guest of the night. Guess who it was? The legendary Willie Pep and legendary Sandy Sadler. Remember that 4-fight series they had? We talked about that Tuesday, remember? They were the honored guests at Duran de Jesus 1, Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler. Of course, they were both retired by then. And, just like Pep and Duran, they hated each other during their 4 fights, but they had become friends by then. And they were introduced and sit together at the fight because they had been going around doing exhibitions and speeches together. The Sadler and Pep were the honored guests for this fight. Because back then doing fights, they used to introduce, they don't do it now, but most of the big fighters, big names in the audience, they would bring them up into the ring and introduce them before the main event. They don't do that now. But that's how they used to do it back in the 70s. Yeah. Okay. So Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler was there. 2 of boxing's greatest. They barely got to their seats when the fireworks first went off. That's less than 30 seconds in to the fight. Esteban de Jesus landed a perfectly timed left hook. For the first time in his career, Duran's backside touched the canvas, right? Put Duran down. 30 seconds in. Now, Roberto was up at the count of 6. both embarrassed and hurt, and the damage was done. He never fully recovered from the shock of that first ever knockdown of his career. In the rounds that followed, the typically active and aggressive Duran appeared flat-footed and disinterested, either unable or unwilling to fully commit to the offensive onslaught he was known for, while Esteban de Jesus took control of the fight. Yeah, Jesus put him down, and Duran never recovered from that first knockdown 30 seconds into the fight. So, when the final bell rang, everyone, including Duran, appeared to know the outcome, and Roberto retreated to his corner in disgust. The scores rendered by judges Harold Letterman. No, it couldn't have been the same Harold Letterman, because this was 1972. But the scores rendered by judges Harold Letterman and Bill Wright fell in line with that of referee Arthur Brigante. All for de Jesus. Roberto Duran had suffered his first defeat of his career, and his backside touched the canvas for the first time in his career, too. Okay, chapter 2. Chapter 2. We go to the second fight. Yeah, Dre, that was something, wasn't it? Duran and de Jesus, classic. We will never see any kind of trilogies of fights to top them anymore, you know. And they wasn't at no press conferences and no cooked up beefs. They hated each other's guts for real. You know, they couldn't stand each other. They got in a real fight at one of the pre-fight presses. It's coming up. I think it might have been the second fight. But one of them, Esteban smacked Duran upside the head with a right hand. Yeah, they didn't like each other at all. But let's continue. But you're right, Dre, they squabbled. Yeah, okay. Let's continue. Okay, chapter 2. Chapter 2 now. Okay. Now, the time following that first fight served both men well. The two went on a tear because they had other fights. They didn't have an immediate rematch. Now, they combined for a sterling record of 18 wins with no losses, no draws, and 11 knockouts, you know, in their fights in between their first and second fight. Together, they had 18 wins, no losses, and 11 knockouts. Duran defended his title 3 times against top contenders Jimmy Robertson, Hector Thompson, and Guts Ishimatsu. Just as impressive was the streak for de Jesus, attempting to squash rumors he was a flash in the pan. Esteban recorded incredible wins over Alfonso Frazier and Ray Lampkin. But it was inevitable, with the road the two men were on, that their paths would cross again. Finally, on March 16th, 1974, they met in front of a rabid crowd in Panama City, went to Duran's hometown for the second fight. First one was at the Garden, remember? Second one in Panama. Now Duran, using his champion's advantage, was able to secure the location and the lion's share of the purse. Esteban would have to confront Roberto on the champion's home turf, which during the month of March was excruciatingly hot and humid. And remember, the first fight, Esteban won it, but Duran still had the title because remember, the first fight was a non-title fight. Okay? It was a non-title fight. Okay, bear with me for a minute. I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go, right there. I went right past it. There we go. Okay, here we go. Yeah. They had the second fight in Panama. and it was March. And in March, Panama is like excruciatingly hot and humid. Like in Baltimore, like August, but in March in Panama, hot and humid. Baltimore, DC, like July, August, like it is now. That's how it is in March in Panama. But anyway, Roberto Duran stepped into the ring that night with the full intentions of erasing the memory of the first defeat of his career from everyone's mind, which was to DeJesus, remember, in that first fight. This time, there would be no partying, no late night debauchery, or suspicious automobile accidents. The Duran that entered the ring that night appeared in terrific shape, strong as a bull, but also as agile as a panther. And then it happened. Again, Roberto, attacking in the opening round, left himself open, and Esteban came over the top with his old friend, the left hook, the same punch that shook up the world in Madison Square Garden and dropped Duran, struck a second time. And again, Duran's tasted the canvas. Again, in the first round, Esteban dropped him, okay, with the same punch, the left hook. The Panamanian constituency sprang from their seats aghast. Remember, they was in Panama. Was all of the pre-fight talk no more than hype? Will we see the smooth Puerto Rican box his way to another comfortable decision over Duran? And they was in Panama, and everybody was in panic mode because Duran hit the canvas again in the first round, just like the first fight when Esteban beat him, when the title wasn't on the line. But this time the title was on the line. So they was panicking down there all of a sudden, right? But instead of marking DeJesus' superiority, the knockdown this time sparked a fire in the hands of Stone. In 1972, Roberto had risen only to compete without zeal, to retire himself from any chance for victory. This time, the first fight, remember, he never recovered and he didn't compete and he just looked lethargic, didn't he look like Duran? But this time, he rose, got up off the mat, and attacked with fury. With the first round over, Roberto assumed more and more control of the fight, and the third round was essentially Esteban's last stand. Finding himself in a vicious firefight, DeJesus never backed down, but he was decidedly outgunned. In round 7, Duran put together a stinging volley of punches and hurt DeJesus, and DeJesus crumbled after a powerful overhand right from Duran. And Duran had more to give, but DeJesus did have more to give, and Duran obliged. But the full force of Roberto's attack was simply too much for DeJesus, who took more and more time to answer the bell at the start of each round. By the 10th round, the end appeared inevitable and was in a sense welcome. The 11th round saw Duran deck and exhausted and brutalized DeJesus, who just barely beat the count before the referee wisely halted the fight. Yeah, DeJesus was done. But yeah, he put up a good battle, but Duran was just too much for him that second fight. So now it's 1-1. Okay? It's 1-1. DeJesus won the first fight. Title wasn't on the line. Second fight, the title was on the line, and Roberto successfully defended it. So, the trilogy. What happened in the trilogy, in the rubber match? Let's see what happened. Who won the rubber match? Chapter 3. Duran versus DeJesus. I don't know why I keep saying DeJesus. DeJesus. Chapter 3. Now, no one is ever satisfied with a split. Right? Nobody's satisfied with 1-1. That's why these people was talking about. So I heard some people say it after what's the two light heavyweights' name? Told y'all I'm old. Bivol and Beterbiev. I heard some people saying we want Bivol and Beterbiev. It's 1-1, that's enough. No. Why leave it at 1-1? And I'm glad they having the trilogy, Bivol and Beterbiev. Why leave it at 1-1? That's crazy. No one is ever satisfied with a split. Imagine if Ali and Frazier had decided enough was enough after their second fight in 1974. We would have never had the Thriller in Manila, right? Or if Rocky Graciano had said to Tony Zale after winning their second fight, we each got to win. How about we leave it at that? The story isn't over until a final chapter is written, right? The third and final meeting of Roberto Duran and Esteban de Jesus took place in January of 1978, almost 4 years since their second fight in Panama. They took a while, but they finally made it 4 years later, because remember, the second fight was in 74. But 78, they did get the third fight. Now, the time between the second and third fights had been profitable for both men, right? Because they both were constantly fighting. Now, each had a claim to the World Lightweight Championship, which meant a third fight was keenly anticipated, because De Jesus had beat somebody for the other, because Duran had just had one of them, and De Jesus had beat the other fighter that had the other title. We had just had WBA and WBC then. I forget which one each had, but coming into that third fight, they each had one of those belts, because in between the second and third Duran fights, De Jesus had gained that other title. So that made it even more better. It was for undisputed, right? Each had a claim to the World Lightweight Championship, which meant a third fight was keenly anticipated. The stakes even higher, because each had a belt in their hands. The fight would decide once and for all, not only who was the better fighter, but who was the true undisputed champion at 135. Okay? Yeah, this was going to decide it right here. So what happened? Anybody know who won? Let's see. Okay. Now, following the second fight, the loss to Duran, De Jesus regrouped, and in 1975 he received the chance. This is where he got his belt. He received the chance at Antonio Cervantes' super lightweight title. Knocked down 3 times, De Jesus dropped the 15-round decision to Colombia's legendary Kid Pambele, but the Puerto Rican skills and heart were not to be denied again. Several knockout wins set up another shot at a championship, and knowing such chances were not unlimited, he made sure the third time was indeed the charm. In front of his compatriots in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, De Jesus outworked WBC lightweight champion Gus Ishimatsu over the course of 15 rounds to finally realize his dream and become a world champion. Esteban wasted no time resting on his laurels. Within a year, he had defended his title belt with 3 stoppage wins. Okay, so Esteban had the WBC, Roberto had the WBA going into that third fight. Okay? Now, during the same time as Esteban was doing all that, getting his title, Roberto Duran had taken his game to a whole other level. Tearing through, I was telling you, during those 70s, Roberto Duran was him. Okay? Listen to this. During the same time Esteban de Jesus was getting his title, Roberto Duran had taken his game to a whole other level. Tearing through all challenges put in front of him, he was now viewed by many as pound for pound the best boxer in the world. The numbers from this period speak for themselves. Okay, listen. This is why the hands of stone during the 70s. Listen. Roberto entered the ring 20 times. He exited the winner 20 times, with only 5 of his opponents surviving to hear the final bell. In that same span, Duran produced 7 successful title defenses, 6 by knockout. And the question being asked by boxing historians was not whether Roberto Duran deserved to be regarded as a great champion, but whether or not he was the best lightweight champion of all time. Okay? The hands of stone. But while virtually all agreed that Roberto Duran was the best lightweight in the world, there was one difficulty to this claim, right? Because another man held a version of the lightweight title, okay? So that was the problem. Esteban de Jesus had the WBC belt. And that man also happened to be the only fighter to ever defeat Duran. Okay? So that was a problem. Duran was the hands of stone and him and all that in the 70s, and they talked about as the greatest light heavyweight ever, greatest lightweight ever. But the same man that had the other belt was the same man that was the only man that had ever beat Duran. So they had to settle that. They had to squash that. That had to be settled. So the stage was now set for Roberto Duran and Esteban de Jesus to meet a final time, with the winner emerging as the unified and undisputed world champion, as well as the winner of their trilogy. Because if Esteban would have won that third fight, you had to give him the nod because he got 2 wins over Duran then and undisputed at lightweight. No matter what Duran did during the 70s, Esteban would have had to get the nod, man, right? So that was a big fight. I remember that. That was huge, right? Because Duran was him, but there was this other man out there that was the only man to beat Duran, and he had the other belt. So the stage was set. So who won that third fight? Anybody know? Let's see what happened. Okay. I lost my place again. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Who won? Who won? Anybody know? Put it in the chat. Who won? Okay, let's go. Let me stop playing around. Right? That man also happened to be the only fighter to ever defeat Roberto Duran. The stage was set. Okay. Okay. Now, Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, played host to Duran versus de Jesus 3, right? Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. And due to the magnitude of the event, it was broadcast on live national television. I saw it. I was right there in front of my TV. I saw it before anybody knew what was going to happen. Now, the stakes were higher than ever, and the participants were primed and ready. Okay, so tune in Monday, we'll see what happened. No, just kidding. Just kidding. The participants were primed and ready. There's a pound here. Pound for pound, King Bud. What's happening? Pound for pound, King Bud. I guess you got Bud over Canelo. I got Canelo in that one. Okay, let's go. Dre say Duran won. Okay, let's see. Well, Dre was there too, watching it in the 70s. Okay, but yeah. Okay, let's see what happened. But salute pound for pound, King. Good to see you today, bro. And Perro, sir. What's up, Perro, sir? How are you today? Perro, sir. Appreciate Perro, sir, because he always comes up at the end and helps me out, close the show out on the panel. Salute, Perro, sir. Appreciate you 1,000%, my brother. Okay. So we talking about Duran and de Jesus getting to the third fight. Because remember, Duran was the man in the 70s, but there was another man that had the other belt. And Duran had one loss on his ledger. And the man that had that other belt was the man that gave him the only loss of his career. So he didn't just necessarily get the best lightweight of all time. Esteban de Jesus had something to say about it. So they met in the ring to settle it. Okay? So let's look at de Jesus Duran 3. Now, Roberto had obviously seen a pattern emerge from the first 2 fights. And this time he was cautious of Esteban's fast start. Because remember, the first 2 fights, Esteban dropped Duran both times in the first round, in the first 2 fights. So Duran was cautious this time, and he got him with the left hook both times in those first rounds of the first two fights. So Duran was cautious of Esteban's fast start. Now, during the first round this time, Duran switched gears and used his underappreciated technical skills. Duran's constant head movement and brilliant footwork came to the fore. His powerful combinations artfully put together behind an effective jab. Weathering De Jesus' initial onslaught, because Esteban came out again, just like he did those first two fights in that first round. Came out on fire. But this time, Duran weathered Esteban's initial onslaught through the first few rounds. And then Duran soon brought the pressure and the heavy artillery to bear. The ever-constant De Jesus at first laughed off his opponent's effort, but a graver mistake could not have been made. For the next 20 minutes, Duran never let up, and De Jesus could not fend off his oppressor. Yeah, Duran was just too much. When he came out there focused and on, just too much for De Jesus. In round 12, an over-anxious De Jesus left himself open as he attempted to throw a right hand, an error that proved disastrous as Duran beat him to the punch and scored with a perfect right of his own that sent De Jesus crashing to the canvas. He rose with difficulty, but Duran had always been an expert finisher, one of the greatest finishers in history. A series of heavy blows hammered De Jesus down again as his corner then stopped the fight. The third and final clash was over. Roberto Duran reigned supreme. The epilogue. Okay, the trilogy with De Jesus ended Duran's terrorizing reign at lightweight. He now looked to campaign at welterweight, eager to win another championship and earn huge paydays with some of boxing's biggest stars. He get ready to become one of the famed four kings now. The professional careers of Duran and De Jesus never crossed again. In June of 1980, Duran secured the biggest win of his career when he dethroned welterweight champion Sugar Ray Leonard. The following month, De Jesus had his own big opportunity when he challenged former Duran opponent Saul Mamby for a super lightweight world title. De Jesus fell to Mamby by TKO in round 13 in a one-sided contest. It would prove to be his final fight. That's when his legal difficulties started. Just a few months later, on November 25th, 1980, Duran shocked the world once more, this time in a manner none thought possible. In a rematch with Leonard, Duran muttered two words that would haunt him for the rest of his life: no mas. Yeah, and I was bragging on Duran so bad before that second fight. I was telling everybody he was going to stop Leonard. That became my nickname for a while too, no mas. Okay, yeah. Because Duran going to stop him in the second fight. But Sugar Ray cheated and got him in there too fast. Okay, Sugar Ray cheated. Now, Duran turned his back and quit. A humiliating defeat, especially for a macho warrior like Duran. Surrendering so abruptly and easily completely violated the code of the Latin fighter. It was tantamount to a crime, and many of Roberto's loyal fans turned on him with a vengeance. It would be years before he could restore his reputation with a glorious comeback win in the same building where he had won his first world title and where he had first battled Esteban de Jesus. Duran made a nice, great comeback from that, though. Ended up as a legendary fight. Made a great comeback from that no mas fight, man. But yeah, that was terrible, man. I didn't cry. I might have. And you know what made me so mad was when he said no mas, he was still well within the fight. Sugar Ray was ahead on 2 points on one card and 1 point on two. Roberto could have won. It was still 7 rounds to go. He was still well within the fight when he did that, man. I was mad at Roberto for a long time after that. He still could have won the fight. It was only the 8th round, and Sugar Ray was ahead on 2 points on one card and 1 point on two. So why did he quit, man? Because Sugar Ray was doing all that dumb shit. That's what happened. But let's move on. Okay, let's move. Okay. Now, where were we? Okay. Yeah. Meanwhile, when Duran was making his comeback, DeJesus soon found himself involved in a crime far more serious. The former champion had become addicted to drugs, and while in the grips of a cocaine binge, he murdered a man. They got to arguing at a stoplight. Remember, we talked about that in the profile, and Esteban shot the guy, man. Yeah, shot him and killed him. Now, his trial and subsequent sentence to life in prison became one of the most scandalous events in Puerto Rican history. Never before had a figure of such renown and esteem crashed so quickly and disgraced himself in such a sudden and violent fashion. But the worst was yet to come. In prison, DeJesus worked to reform himself, finding solace in religion and becoming a model prisoner. But in 1985, his older brother, with whom he had shared needles in years past, when both were using heroin and cocaine, died of AIDS. Soon after, Esteban tested positive for the virus, and eventually, the symptoms began to appear. It was soon evident that the former champion had little time left to live. In a rare moment of mercy, the Puerto Rican government commuted Esteban's life sentence to house arrest so he could spend his final days among family and friends, right? But eventually, guess who showed up at his home? Roberto Duran himself. Roberto was one of the most passionate fighters in history, and despite the no mas debacle, he typified the Latino definition of macho. A fiery temper coupled with his disdain for Esteban led to one of the fiercest rivalries in Latino boxing history, and the hatred between Duran and the people of Puerto Rico. Roberto never missed the opportunity to disparage the whole state. The sentiment was returned as Puerto Rico hated Roberto Duran with a passion. Okay? But that's an iconic picture right there. That's Roberto Duran, Esteban DeJesus on Esteban DeJesus' deathbed, okay? But upon hearing of the fragile state of his former rival, Esteban DeJesus, Roberto Duran got on a plane and journeyed to Puerto Rico to share one last confrontation with his old foe. And this final encounter defined their rivalry more than any boxing match ever could. Upon witnessing the state of his disease-ridden adversary, Roberto put aside all fear and embraced DeJesus. And at the time, AIDS was a largely misunderstood malady. Some feared it could be spread through such contact, just touching another person with AIDS. But Duran ignored such worries. He held and kissed his old rival and even told his daughter to do likewise. The heart of the proud Panamanian proved just as strong as his legendary punching power, and the ramifications were immediate. The media, and most importantly, the people of Puerto Rico, saw their former enemy in a new light. The achievements of a champion are indisputable. They are defined through his wins and losses inside the ring. The character of a champion is more difficult to define. But on that day in April of 1989, Roberto Duran defined his character for millions of Latin Americans in a manner unique and unforgettable. Esteban DeJesus succumbed to AIDS on May 12, 1989, leaving behind a record of 58 wins against only 5 losses. More importantly, he was Roberto Duran's fiercest rival. Giving Duran his first loss, he may have awakened the sleeping beast. The true talent of Hands of Stone helped propel Roberto to his destiny as perhaps the greatest lightweight of all time. But ultimately, what lives on is something more meaningful than 3 great fights full of intense action. Most surprisingly, what remains between two warriors after all that combat and struggle is respect, even love. There you have it, Roberto Duran and Esteban de Jesus. Unc Dre Finest. Appreciate you, Unc Dre, with the super chat, putting the color in there. Let's show some appreciation to Unc Dre Finest. Appreciate you, Unc Dre. I was going to talk about, since we was on Esteban de Jesus, great legendary Puerto Rican fighter, I was going to talk about some other Puerto Rican fighters. But let's get, it's 3:30. Let's put the link in for the rest of the show. And yeah, let's chop it up for the rest of the show. If everybody is welcome to hit the link over here. Okay, we was going to talk about some other great Puerto Rican fighters, but let's get some link time. Okay? And appreciate you though, Unc Dre Finest. It's Friday. We got some great fights coming up this weekend though, man. Woo. And y'all don't try to run me till 5 o'clock today. I gotta go. Miss Cass gonna kill me if I stay on here too late. Today. Unless one of y'all gonna come over here and help me fight. Get Miss Cass off of me, keep me on here till 5 o'clock. You got my back. But yeah, we got Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios tomorrow. And we got the big rematch between Tim Tszyu and Fedora on that card too, and then Usyk and Dubois is on there. They got their own card. They're not on that card, right? Usyk and Dubois ain't gonna be no undercard fight. Yeah, they got their card tomorrow. So yeah, is anything happening tonight? I think it's a couple cards from London tomorrow. We got, I think it's a female fight headlining the card from London, but I think that's early in the day. Right. So I don't know. We're going to be in good shape though. Tomorrow. But it's the weekend again. Hope everybody enjoyed the show today. We're going to get some link time now. The link is for everybody though. Okay. Everybody's welcome to hit it. And come on up and chop it up. But I still can't believe Esteban de Jesus not in the Hall of Fame, man. That is a boxing scandal there. What's the criteria? There's the link. Come on, hit the link and come on up and chop it up with me. Everybody is welcome. Okay. Hope everybody enjoyed the show today. But I had 10 of the greatest Puerto Rican fighters of all time. This was on Esteban de Jesus, but I dropped it to chop it up. But I can start talking about them until somebody hits the link. I got 2. What's going on? Appreciate you, Unc Dre. Yeah, I guess that's right. Man. Okay. Yeah, I will start talking about some of these other great Puerto Rican fighters. Well, no, I won't, because I got Define Arnie 1, and I got Thomas Hill. What's happening, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm not believing it's something to come.
How are y'all today?
What's good with you?
Everything's good. Everything's going well. What's up with y'all? Define Arnie, Somebody got what's going on over there?
Maybe
I got some noise in there. I'm trying to get this straight, bro. What's happening? Talk to me.
Oh
You
man,
find
looking forward for tomorrow, man. Basically,
okay. Waiting for
how you
tomorrow.
doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. It's Friday.
Awesome,
Had a great week,
awesome.
you know. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Great
talk
week
about
and
this.
great month.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some good fights coming up now, man. Bam is
Hell yeah.
tomorrow too, right? Bam Rodriguez, don't he fight tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Damn, they got all those fights on the same day. They should have put one of them on nothing tonight, right? Nothing tonight.
I agree. I
They
agree.
should have put one of them on
But you
tonight.
know,
Manny and Barrios, Usyk, Dubois, Bam, all those people fighting on the same day. Aren't they gonna like run? Some of them gonna be on at the same time, right?
I mean, Usyk is earlier because it's in the UK, but Bam and Pacquiao, I think they're gonna collide.
Yeah, I think so. And there's a pound for pound.
I can't make a layup saying it's gone.
What'd you say to you? What's up, pound for pound, King?
Peace. Hold on, I'll be right. Hold on.
What'd you say to him? I didn't understand what you said just now. Oh, okay. Well, T Hill will be back in a moment.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, yeah,
So I mean,
All right. My bad, fellas. My
everybody
bad.
loud and clear now. Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead. Define. I think you had some feedback earlier, but go
It
ahead.
sounds good now.
man, I wanted to tell you, thank you so much for honoring Esteban de Jesus, bro, because he doesn't get talked about nearly as much as he should be
No.
over here, you know.
Yeah, I was mad you not in the show, man. That messed me up.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought
gonna
he
watch
was
that
in
playback. I don't know that he makes the top 10 though, and that's not a bad thing though. But I don't know that he makes the top 10 Puerto Ricans, you know, because you know there's some names that are undeniable. I mean, Tito, Cotto, Calderon, Benitez, Gomez. That's 5. Camacho 6, Rosario 7, Juan Laporte 8, and I don't know. After that, we will have to think with Alfredo Escalera or.
Yeah,
What's the name of the
they have in the top 10 Puerto Ricans.
somebody's got a lot of static, bro. Somebody's got a lot of static.
Cupcake stands, I don't know.
Somebody got a TV or something on them. Anybody got a TV or something on? Or that's
Just running through my head, you know, like the top 10. I don't know that he makes the list, but it's fine if he doesn't, bro. It's perfectly fine if he doesn't, you know.
He's still in the Hall of Fame.
Should be. I agree.
Yeah.
He was a hell of a fighter, bro.
You talking about the
Because the
top
thing
10
is, you gotta go.
fighters, right?
I mean, I don't think so because I just mentioned 8 and I left out Carlos Ortiz and Sixto Escobar and the Coco Kid and you know the ones from back in the day. You know, like I don't think so.
No, I didn't have it in my top 10 Puerto Rican fighters. I'm getting ready to give you mine. I got a few. Because I was getting ready to talk about it before I dropped it.
I mean, maybe. No, but yeah, I don't think so either, honestly, because like I said, you got Trinidad, you got Coro, you got Calderon, Benitez, and Gomez. That's 5, right? And then you got Rosario, Camacho, and what's the name of these two? Carlos Ortiz. That's 8. And then I mean Juan Laporte, and you know all the way back in the day, the Sixto Escobar, which was our first world champion. and Herbie Hancock. I mean, there's a lot of names, bro. But I mean, he's definitely top 15, though. Definitely top 15.
And all 10 of those fighters should be in the Hall of Fame. What you just named.
I agree. Definitely should be in the Hall of Fame. That's a crime that he's not. That he's not. You know. First guy to be put on at lightweight, bro. Are you kidding me?
What's up,
And
y'all?
somebody's all over. Like,
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Okay.
Yeah, I like that you're talking about G. When you're going into the history of Duran. Definitely like this talk right here. I appreciate you letting me get on too. I definitely had a lot of questions though, but I understand y'all was on y'all was talking about the other guy from Puerto Rico. I don't know too much about his history though. I can't speak about that. But,
DeJesus, yeah. So go ahead.
you can ask me whatever you want.
You say you had some Duran questions?
yeah, definitely. They say out of the four kings that Duran was They say out of the four kings that Duran was one of the weakest. I say they don't know shit about boxing. They don't know shit about boxing.
Exactly. I agree.
I mean, there's no good answer, right? You say Hearns or Hagler. There's no good answer.
Yeah, it wasn't no weak link in the four
But
kings.
we say that Duran is the weakest. The weakest out of four of them. There's some strong brothers right there, but come on. Duran was a beast. You got to give him his respect, man. And then y'all said it yourself. This is the same thing that Roger Mayweather said. Roger Mayweather said he had Duran as the best lightweight ever. That's words. And y'all saying the same thing. You saying the same thing that other fighters said. A lot of people, man, who's messing with that man at 135? I don't know nobody, brother.
Yeah. But you know, once he got to the four kings, he had left 135, remember?
Yeah. He
but I still wouldn't call him a weak link, though.
He dominated that though. He dominated it's over.
135. He was him.
And you the first person I ever heard say something like Sugar Ray cheated. You right on that. He did. Hell yeah, he cheated. Cause ain't no way he gonna beat another hungry Duran. You see how Duran from the slums. He eating out the garbage can.
Right.
So when you get Duran coming from a hungry man like this, and you give us $100 million, you give us $1 million. Hey man, we from the slums, man. We don't know how to act. Know what I mean? So Duran, what he had to lose 60, 40 pounds?
Sugar Ray got him back in there quick because he know he couldn't beat Duran at his best. 100% Duran, no way.
Of course.
Duran would have stopped in the second fight.
Of course.
100%. And you know what? When Duran said no more, he was only 2 points on one card and one on the other two with 7 rounds to go. He was still well within the fight.
Ah, shit, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. But when you said the part that Duran was doing that, the Sugar Ray was doing that dumb shit, and that's why he got mad, I can see that. I can see like, yo, he was on his asshole shit. He got to win by any means, and he gonna piss Duran off. Yo, Sugar Ray was not. That's the intelligence, the IQ of boxing. You know what I mean? Sugar Ray was a bad guy, man.
That's right. He used his mind on him. But like I was saying, Duran, that's why I was so mad because he still could have won the fight.
Hey, another boxer. You're right. You know what another boxer said? I don't know if this is true, but another boxer from back in them days, in Duran's days, he said, Duran said he had to do number 2. I don't want to say that in the air and shit. You know what I mean?
I heard that.
Man, listen, man.
But his manager said that wasn't the case. His manager said he quit because he was frustrated. Yeah.
I probably would quit too, man. Like, you know what I mean? In his shoes, and you like that upset and pissed off that this man's acting like a clown, and he's clowning you. And your whole everybody's laughing at you now.
Yeah. And he couldn't do nothing about it, you know.
That's mentally, he's beating you mentally right there.
And he was suffering because he didn't train and everything. He had to lose all that weight. That played into it too, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad you caught on there. I see where your IQ is at on
I
boxing.
listened to that.
So when
I listened to that.
when
I saw that fight as it played out. I was
I,
watching
I,
it.
I was hearing you for the first 30 seconds, and then when I heard you talking, like, yo, my man knows some things. Please drop the link, bro. Drop the link. Because I love talking this boxing stuff, and I want to get into them days. You know, so I appreciate you for doing what you're doing, man. This is my boxing channel. You know what I mean? I love boxing as well. You know what I mean? Just
Okay.
small
Oh, you got
channel.
a channel? What's the name of your channel? You still there?
Nah, it looked like he popped off.
Hello?
Okay.
Looked like he
Okay.
popped up.
You still there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
It's just me, you, and
Your friend
Iron.
Arnie T. Hill lost it? Okay, go ahead. Talk to me. T. Hill and
Go ahead, Tim.
I think he dropped
Nah,
out.
I was just saying, you know, I was gonna get up here and commend you on the job that you did, man. Well done job. And also chronicling, like you said, fighters that hardly ever get the buzz that they deserve, the shine that they deserve. So, man, shout out to you. Shout out to my brother that came over here and told us about his stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Be fine.
Which one do you think is going to be the best? Which one do you think is going to be the best fight, T Hill? The one that we have.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, a good question.
This weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For which card?
Pacquiao.
That's
I was
good.
really intrigued by that Cruz fight, but oh boy pulled out, so I'm not so sure about that one now.
Who pulled out? T. Hill?
I like the Puello. I mean, not the Puello. The Russell fight. I like to see how that person. I want to see how he looks after being off for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the Barrios fight. I think that's going to be
Oh man.
interesting to see how that plays out, because you know, only from a standpoint of where, you know, they go if he should lose. Because if he should lose, then is it a play to get Mayweather another shot at becoming another time champion?
You mean if Pacquiao wins?
Yeah, if Pacquiao wins.
That's what I think.
That's what I've always said, bro. I've always come in with that mindset that if he came back, it's to make money. It would be a huge rematch. You know, people just being fans of Barrios and Mayweather. I mean, Pacquiao and Mayweather will buy that fight, but also the people that don't like them. So I don't know, man. Who you think is the best fight for that card? Define Iron.
Fundoracio.
Me too. That's what I was gonna say. Pandora and Zoo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that fight is on it. I love that fight.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping Sue is back to his normal self, though, bro. Like after that headbutt, man, he was a little.
Yeah, I know. After that.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you say somebody pulled out? You said somebody pulled out, bro?
I heard Fadero, he pulled out.
Yeah, bro.
Is that not true?
I don't know. Damn.
I was really interested. Yeah, I was really interested in seeing that fight, man. I thought that was gonna be a barn burner.
No doubt. Like the first one.
Yes.
But we'll see, bro. We'll see, because man, we got boxing in steroids here this weekend. So, man,
you know, your boy Mike Sayo on that card as well too. And if both Mike Sayo and Russell win, then I think they're gonna set that one up.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
Was saying yesterday.
Yeah.
I think so.
So I'm looking forward to the card, man. I think it's going to be exciting. I think that it's great matchups. Only one I'm really suspect about is the one where Pacquiao's in there, only because, you know, Pacquiao did nothing to deserve that spot.
Right.
No, honestly, I don't.
What's your pick? Why not?
I pick Barrios, man. If there's no take, and it's just skill on skill and condition on condition, I got Barrios, man. I just think that Pacquiao didn't look good in his last fight. That was an exhibition, and he ain't been in a ring, man. He ain't even been training. He been over there worrying about politics, and I don't think you can just come back and take over. But I mean, I am privy to the information that the reason why Barrios wasn't in the ring is because he had a dispute with the family of his girl, his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, fiance, and you know they put hands on that brother. So you know what I'm saying?
He got beat up, right?
Yeah, you know he was not able to fight. So you know he's not coming on.
When the last time we fought? Hurry up. When was the last fight?
But it was last year. It was against your boy.
Ready, man.
Well, yeah.
Who?
No, it was against what's his name?
Who was?
Hey, pardon me, y'all.
No, it wasn't Ugas. It was your boy. Goodness, Ramos. One of the Ramos brothers.
Didn't he fight Ugas?
He fought Ugas before Ramos.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, we had a fight after that. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's right. You're right. Forgot about that.
You know, this right here, it's been out of the ring with him, but he's just been a lot more active. He should be in somewhat shape, so you know, I don't know, man. But I do know Pacquiao. He does have a flair for the dramatic. He does have a punch, and you know, anything can happen in rounds 1 through 4, especially if Barrios is not trying to box and he's trying to engage.
Yeah.
That being the thing. Go ahead.
Hey, I was saying this, right? When they try to put a limitation on Pacquiao because of his age, I think age carries different to individuals. I don't know if I worded that right. I mean, you could be a younger guy, you know what I mean, tearing your body up for abusing your body. You could be an older guy with having a youthful body because you never did no drugs. You took care of your body. So Pacquiao's like, he don't do drugs. He's a good man. Don't do no drugs, positive. So if he's taking care of his body, I you know, it might be a good chance. He done beat Keith Thurman. He lost to Ugas because he didn't even train for Ugas. He trained for Spence. And they put Ugas in there 2 weeks later. That was some foul stuff, right? So other than that, though,
sound like you picking Pacquiao.
Nah. I'm just saying, I wouldn't sleep on Pacquiao.
Right.
Nah, man, so it could be 50-50 because we know Pacquiao work though.
Yeah.
If he still has that speed, you know, can he give this guy problems?
If he does, yeah, he can. I can see him giving Barrios problems.
Yeah.
You got that same speed he had back in the day. Yeah.
Now, if somebody's listening to us to make a bet, brother, I can't. I just say 50-50 because I ain't sleeping on Pacquiao, brother. You know, some people listen to these podcasts to make bets. So I'm not here to mislead nobody, nothing. Just my honest opinion. I'm not sleeping on nobody, brother.
No, you can't.
Nah, there's no sleeping. That's why I said he got a puncher's chance. Conditioning, I'm not sure he's going to be conditioned to be the Pacquiao of old later in the fight, but he could be. And as far as like age, I mean, you know, I know age affects people differently, but you know, when you get there and you're inactive, that's like that double. I don't know, you don't want to press your luck too many times with double whammies because they take everything you got. So with that being the case, man, I think rounds 1 through 4 is dangerous for Barrios. The longer it goes, I think the better it becomes for Barrios. I
agree with that.
Hey, look, check this out. Do y'all remember the punch that Pacquiao knocked Thurman down with?
No, what was it? I can't remember.
Okay, look, I think that was the same punch, right? That Pacquiao with. Yeah, I think that was the same punch that Pacquiao was just trying to teach Teofimo Lopez. So I don't know if you've seen a little clip with Teofimo Lopez. He was Pacquiao was showing him a jab, right? And this jab you didn't even cock back. The jab was like all the way like 70% out there, and you just let it go for 70%. So that's like how he knocked out Thurman. Yo, that jab ain't no joke, man. I be trying to practice that jab.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. And it hits hard and it's strong from 70% out. Like, damn.
Yeah, I didn't remember that punch. But yeah, okay, that's what it was. Wow. With the right hand, right?
Yeah, but this is a clip around where Pacquiao showing Teofimo Lopez that punch. Man, if you love boxing, if you like to box, you see that punch, you're gonna want that in your arsenal, man. That's mean, man. Because your hand is already extended out there like 70%.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then you got power coming along with that. Like, man, like the power that's coming along with only 70%, it takes me like I gotta cock my hand all the way back to bring that type of power. And he's letting it go from there.
Yeah. And your opponent wouldn't be expecting that to land like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Ant? We got Ant between.
Chilling,
I'll be right back. I'll be right back,
okay.
y'all.
Okay. What's up, Ant?
Chilling, man. I feel the general sentiment about aging, because there's chronological, which is your age, and then there's biological and physiological, which is like what you put your body through. But Manny isn't necessarily the most preserved guy, because he's been in some tough fights.
Yep, I was thinking that.
Been knocked out a couple times. Been in some grueling fights. And then on top of that, you know, he's admitted in the past to drug use. Like, he's done cocaine, smoked crack, smoked crystal meth.
Yep. It take a toll on you, man.
Yeah, not to slight the great Manny Pacquiao, because the man is a Hall of Famer. His resume speaks for itself. But watching his last fight that he had, the exhibition with the kickboxing dude, he didn't seem like have that bounce in his step. No glide in his stride. He looked a little flat. And he's going to need those legs, because he's at a considerable height and reach disadvantage. Mario Barrios is
considerable. You're right.
6'1" with a 70-something inch reach. Manny Pacquiao was 5'5", and his reach is about 67 inches or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Right.
So he's gonna have to close that gap. Not to say that it can't be done, but I'm in alignment with T Hill. It's gonna have to be early. I feel like the longer it goes, the tougher it's gonna be for Manny Pacquiao. And then also potentially with him being out of the ring so long, that could be problematic too, because as we've seen with sometimes with older fighters, it might take them a little bit longer to warm up. So there's the possibility of him getting caught cold early. Just like you could catch Barrios cold, he could potentially get caught cold. Like my man Bernard Hopkins, his last fight with Joe Smith, got hit with a damn left hook, got knocked out the ring. We just saw it with Tevin Farmer. He got caught cold in that fight with Floyd Schofield.
Yeah.
With a punch that he wasn't ready for. So that's always the potential, but who knows? I mean, I believe it remains to be seen. Right now, I'm leaning towards Barrios.
Okay.
Because of his youth and his size. But he's also taken considerable damage too. Over his past couple of fights. I mean, every time you see the man, his face is swelling up. So he's one of those guys where he cuts easy, he swells easy. He's susceptible to not only taking damage, but wearing it visibly. Look like a different person by the time the fight is over.
I'm serious.
Look like a damn tiki mask or something like that. Guy's face is all swollen up. Even in the victories, man. Even in the victories.
I know. Even when he wins, he's still.
But just think about the punches that he's been in there with over the past couple of fights between Thurman and Gervonta Davis alone, you know? He's been in there with both of those guys, and he went to the 11th with Tank and went all 12 with Thurman. So he took a lot of shots, man, for some guys that can punch.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that wears on you 11, 12 rounds of that, respectively. Then
How old is Barrios? And
if I'm not mistaken, he may be like 30 on the dot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he ain't no
Newly
spring
minted.
chicken. Yeah.
And the last guy he was in there with, Abel Ramos, who is the uncle of Jesus Ramos.
Right.
That guy can punch as well. That guy's got close to an 80% knockout ratio.
Mm.
And he had to peel himself up off the canvas in that fight as well. So there's the possibility that, he may be feeling the effects of some wear and tear. So we got to keep an eye on that too. We don't know what his punch resistance is going to be like. So there's a possibility for both guys to be able to do some damage early.
Yeah.
But if I had to give the edge to somebody in regards to just durability and endurance conditioning, I would have to lean towards Barrios.
But it would be Barrios? Okay.
Yeah, because he's younger and he's been more active. Yeah. This is Pacquiao's first sanctioned fight in 4 years. The last one was 2021 when he fought Barrios. When he fought Ugas. That was 2021. It's 4 years ago. And the last fight that he had was an exhibition. It was only 3 rounds, and the man was huffing and puffing by the middle of the second.
Yeah. That was just a 3-round exhibition. You're right.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that for this fight, he would have an extensive camp, so that would also provide him more time to get his conditioning in order, because I'm not sure exactly how extensive his training was for the kickboxing dude. So I would have to shoot him some bail there and give him some grace. There's a possibility that, it was a little short notice thing, and then boom, he's in the ring. But this time around, we've been knowing about this fight for months now, so he's probably had a proper camp, get acclimated, reacclimated to 147. So who knows?
Hey, let me ask you something. What you consider a proper camp for someone the age of Pacquiao? Like 6 months, 8 to 6 months or something?
Nah, not 6 months. Just a little standard 8 weeks or something like that. Because with the kickboxing dude, I'm not sure if he even had that long to prepare, or if it was one of those things, a situation where like, all right, man, here's the bag, just come in and just scrap,
Yeah.
Limited time.
You say 8 weeks? Because it's been a while since he was really boxing. So I would say, besides the 8 weeks, shouldn't it be something like a pre-training, something real light? Like 2 weeks of some light training or something?
Yeah, probably something like that something like that just to work on his general fitness. But as far as a camp, the one thing you probably wouldn't want to do with a guy like Manny Pacquiao is overtrain him and push him too hard.
Because that's what they say would happen with Ugas, right? Well, he was trained too hard for Spence or something. Who he trained too hard for?
It was probably either one of those gentlemen, right?
Yeah. Because they gave him the Ugas. And, he wasn't ready for that style. He wasn't ready for Ugas style.
Right.
One thing that has to be taken into consideration with an older fightor is recovery too.
Yes, sir.
It's not like the older guys. With the younger guys, you just push them, and you bounce back.
Hey, bro, you might have to say that again for us older guys and stuff, man.
That recovery, man.
Listen, bro, I just hurt myself, bro. I was out of work for 6 days, and on the 4th day, the pain was so bad. I think I probably screamed for like 10 hours straight, bro. 10 hours straight screaming, bro. Pain.
Did you box?
I love the box, but I wasn't working out in months, and I came back without warming up properly. So I caught a back spasm. So that put me out for 6 days, bro. Well, 5 days, really, 5 days.
He was competitive.
Gotta find that balance, man. Gotta find that balance between, getting that work and then recovering.
You're right. You're right. You're so right. You're so right, brother. You're right, brother.
Probably wouldn't want to overtrain Manny.
Or do you just spar?
Brother, I was 16 years old when I first stepped into the boxing ring, and just so happens that I couldn't get away from the streets.
Okay.
So me and my man was cool. He went into Golden Gloves, and I chose the other route.
Okay. Yeah.
But I love it though. So now I come back to it. I found Islam And my life changed. I saved myself by awakening and finding Islam. I've been saved now. Because I was definitely the wrong way going in the streets, but I found myself in the gym and just loving it though. Just to keep myself conditioned, loving it.
Right.
And it's the guide the youth, teach the youth, show them something different, you know what I mean? And take them around brothers who are certified trainers. Because this is how far I can take you. This brother know better than me. So he can take you further. So this is my purpose, what I'm into, brother.
Okay.
And right now I'm staying in Trenton, New Jersey right now. So the boxing gym I'm dealing with right now is called Red Lion Boxing Gym. And the brother, his name is Elijah. Good brother, man. Solid brother, good brother, man. Like
New Jersey?
Yeah, Elijah's from New York. But he just moved out to Jersey, and he had a boxing gym out here for like 8 years now. He got 2 of them. He shut one down, and he still got one going now.
Okay. Cool.
So anybody in this area, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We like to get work over here.
Baltimore.
You in Baltimore?
Yeah.
Ever the Jersey area. The Jersey area, you got a gym to come through,
Okay.
It's all love too, all respect, all love, because like Elijah's the type of brother like I'm listening.
You had a channel. What was
the
name?
My channel right here is Pound for Pound King Bud Myers. It's dedicated really to all the pound for pound greats, because they was like shitting on Bud before he got the Spence fight. They was really calling him Toby, top rank Toby. They was really shitting on Bud. And he like my favorite. He got me back into boxing because I left boxing after Mike Tyson got knocked out. I just gave up on boxing. Yeah, because he was my hero. So when I see my hero get locked out, like I just gave up on the boxing. But Bud Crawford, when I seen him, it's like really it was Lomachenko. And my man was like, "Who got the best feet working boxing?" I said, "Lomo, he doing Matrix." He's like, "Nope." I said, "Who?" He said, "Bud." I went and looked up Bud in 2018, and I ain't never stopped watching Bud since, B. He remind me of all the old school fighters. And I might watch the Bud Crawford fight just for studying. I might watch the Bud Crawford fight like 20, 30 times, man, just for studying. This guy's a master at what he does, brother. Like, and I seen it back then.
You think he's gonna beat Canelo?
Of course, I know he's gonna beat Canelo. I'm a hard-working man. I'm hanging in there by threads. So all my hard-working money, the whole bag is going on Bud. The whole bag is going on Bud. Decision to stop this. How my bet is gonna go. This is how my bet is gonna go. I'm gonna share this with you. I'm gonna bet out of 100% of the bag. I'm gonna bet. At first it was 50-50. Now I'm gonna bet 70% knockout, stoppage, and 30% decision. What I got to lose, man? What I got to lose? I mean, like, what I got to lose? I'm feeling a certain way right now because, like, if you understand Bud Crawford, right, you gotta understand his different styles and different mentalities.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling I know what type of Bud Crawford is going to come into this fight and which one's going to get turned up. I know. So from what I know, and you study boxing, you going with Canelo. So I'm like, yo, you talking about Duran. Duran went up in weight divisions. James Toney went up in weight divisions. So many boxers throughout.
They went step in and just jump. They make that big jump like that, though.
Yeah, I know. But just because it doesn't happen, don't mean that cannot happen.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. That's not
because you, me, and this other brother who's on the channel, right? We got no limitations. There's no limitations on the mind. You know what I mean? So anything can happen. So when things happen, so when things happen, it's like, yo, he made history. He made it happen. That was some unbelievable. Ain't nobody never did nothing like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I always look to that, and he has that chance too. He has, if all the people, he has that chance because the skills just, man, this man got too much stuff, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls it off. Not at all.
Hey, the last bet I lost, right? I think it was James Toney fighting Roy Jones. And that's because, James is my man, but you and I know that James Toney and Roberto Duran, at sometimes these boxers had a problem with disciplines.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, if their disciplines was on supreme notch, all the way, the value was all the way up on disciplines, I don't think nobody would ever beat Duran or James Toney.
Oh man, you just a big James Toney fan. Just left the guy that was just on. He's a huge James Tony Fred.
That man was bad, but look, how many pounds did James Tony lose within how much time before he fought Roy Jones?
Yeah.
And would that affect him too?
Of course.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, so we know that. Oh man, so James is not even working on skills right now. He's working on losing the weight right now. Right. And he don't even. They say he don't even like the job.
Yeah.
But look, bro. I guess that's why he liked to stay in the pocket, right? Because he wasn't trying to do all that waste of energy. That's probably why he liked to stay in the pocket, though.
Yeah, I agree though. With lights out, 100% best of shape lights out would have been hard for anybody to beat at any point. You know?
Now let me ask you this: you think that 100% would have beat Jones? Whew, yeah. That's a tough question. You say yeah?
I would pick.
I think. Oh, that's tough. That's tough, brother. But you know what? Yeah. I might want to agree with you, brother, because Tony was my man, and you and I. Look, could you agree with me? Would you say Tony had more skills?
More dog in him.
No, hold on, brother. Look, we could say Roy was athletic.
Yeah.
Like he threw the hook from across the ring. He was athletic. Of course, we got to give him that. But when skills, you think Tony had more, or you think Roy had more skills?
It was close.
Close? You saying 50-50, or you might say like 51? Because Tony was doing shit like he was doing some things though, G. Like
Roy a slight nod. Slight.
Yeah, but now you got. Are you sure that's not for the athletic thing? Because he's doing crazy, marvelous things just athletically.
Right, yeah. Thinking more about the athletic, yeah.
Yeah, now you're looking at staying in the pocket.
I never thought about it like that, though, skill for skill. I always included Roy's athleticism in it. You know what I'm saying?
Remember how he knocked out Michael Nunn?
Yeah.
Okay, so look. James ducked. As he ducked, he was like all the way to the floor, and he still had the guard. He holding the phone all the way to the floor. Mm-hmm. He's in position. His knees almost touching the floor. He's in position that low. So now he springs back up and turns that overhand hook. Oh goodness, man, that was crazy, right? And look, that's the one that like caught Nunn's attention. Like, all right. But now that overhand left came and dropped Nunn.
Yeah, that was a huge upset.
Yeah, man.
Remember?
Yeah, well, Michael Nunn was a bad guy.
Knocked lights out, stopped him.
Yeah, Michael Nunn was a bad guy, but you gotta look right. Like Michael Nunn beat him. I mean, James Tony beat him. James Tony beat Mike McCallum. James Tony beat Mike McCallum.
He did. Yeah.
Mike McCallum was the first person that knocked out Julian Jackson.
Mike was nice. The body snatcher. He was nice.
Do you know who I call him?
He kind of underrated. The body snatcher.
Do you know who I call him?
Who what now?
Do you know who I call him?
Who?
Mike.
I didn't hear what you said. Say it again.
Do you know what I call him?
Oh, what you call him? McCallum?
The fifth king.
Okay. Oh, you call him? Yeah, well, that's a good. I was talking about that yesterday. He
the
was
fifth king.
Overshadowed. He couldn't get that big fight with none of the four kings. Yeah.
Yeah, just because these guys can get the fights don't mean they better fighters though. They just getting the fights. Yeah. Like Spence got all the fights because PBC. So if you got so if you ain't got that good promotion company behind you, shit, man, you just gonna be in the shadows. You great man, but you in the shadows.
Yeah, they kind of held him back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Donald Curry was another one. Donald Curry, remember him?
No, sir. That's somebody I got to study right now. Donald Curry.
Yeah. There's another one.
He sound familiar though. He sound real familiar.
Overshadowed by the four kings. Couldn't get that big fight with any of them. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. See, a lot of people want to bring the Hawk into it, right? But I'll never bring the Hawk into it because of the fact that the mix. Remember the mix? He said, "Give me the mix." That's how he beat Aguayo.
Oh, right. The first time. But the second time he was clean. He beat him even.
Are you sure, brother? Are you sure?
He had Emmanuel Stewart the second time, man. Or you say hold
on.
The bottle and get in the second one? No, he ain't got rid of Panama. What was the Panama Lewis, right? Give me the
The dirty guy. I think that's his name too. The dirty guy. So all right. So he used it for part 1.
Yeah, he said, "Give me the bottle, the one that I mixed up, right?" Like you yeah. That was But the second one, I think he was straight. He had Emmanuel Stewart, didn't he? The second one.
I'm not sure, brother. I'm not sure. I just know that guy. I know that guy's. I'm not sure. I just know that guy's a dirty coach right there. Yeah. Not Emmanuel Stewart, that guy right there, because he had another fighter.
Didn't he get banned?
He got banned because he had this guy from I think Puerto Rico somewhere. He had this guy plaster his hands and shit.
I know.
And he beat this white boy.
I think
but the white boy, he died later on. He died later on. Yeah, but that's the cause of his death.
Yeah, it was from that fight. Yeah.
Yeah, so the boxer regrets it for life. He got to live with it for life. And he coming at the dirty ass trainer, and the dirty ass trainer like, man, fuck you, I ain't do shit, man. Fuck so they going at each other like he's responsible for killing him, man. But he's responsible for that was some foul shit, man. That was some foul shit. But I don't know if Alexander Stewart was training him the second. I don't know that, brother. I don't know that. I can't tell you that one offhand.
Lewis. What'd you say now? Stewart I think he had Stewart for the second Arguello fight because Panama Lewis, after their first fight, he left him because Panama Lewis was suspended or something after that one because they had him on tape saying, "Give me the bottle, the one I mixed up or something." I can't remember exactly how that went. It's been so long, but
anyway, he told on himself though by saying that shit.
Yeah, pride didn't happen for the second fight though. I know that. I think.
But look, my brother, the Hawk must have been a tough guy or he was doped out. How can you take all those bombs? And brother, Alex Aguero was a shooter.
Yeah.
He was a tall, lanky man with the long arms. He lets those hooks, them shots go, man. Man.
But the Hawk, man, he would come out there the first round and just go nonstop for 15 rounds.
Bruh, he looked like he was on dope to me, bro. I could be wrong, but you taking power shots, blows to the head, and man, look, I could be wrong, bro, but man, listen, man, that guy,
crazy.
He might be, man, shit, man, he might be half Mexican in the head, just half Mexican in the head. Like I don't know, man.
But he come out there the first round nonstop, man, throwing 18 punch combinations.
And he's like one of those fighters that would come in with his hands down.
Right. He still knocked down in the first round early, remember?
Yeah, and then now he gets super psyched up now.
After
that was on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I liked the man, but I thought he had the dirty trainer after, But I gotta do my research on what you said. I'm just not sure though.
Yeah, I can see where a person would, and then after his career, he was on drugs. Remember? That's what was his
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's like the other boxer right now. The guy with the cigarette. He just you know what I'm talking about? Latin guy with the cigarette and shit. He slapped Sugar Mosley's wife in the ass and shit.
Oh,
Miguel. The guy with the cigarette. He smoked cigarettes. Nah, man.
Margarito.
No, nah. But you know what I'm talking about? The guy with the cigarettes. He talk all that shit. He talk.
What era are you talking about?
He slapped Sugar Shane Mosley's wife in the ass, bro.
Antonio Margarito? No.
Not Margarito. You saying the wrong name because this the guy who fought Makoto too. He got knocked out. He got knocked out with Makoto. He got knocked out by Felix Trinidad.
Damn.
Somebody in the chat tell him who this guy is with the cigarette.
The guy that used to bad loaded hand wraps, was it?
No, that's Maguire. Who you talking about? Maguire. That's whatever the name. That's him. That's him. Manny Pacquiao beat his ass.
I remember how you going from right on the butt, but I can't think of his name. But I remember
he always had a cigarette. He's always talking shit. You remember him now though?
No, I remember the hit patting his wife on the butt, but I can't come up with the name. I remember that.
Oh man, damn, my guy,
What was he,
Mayo.
Puerto Rican or Mexican? He was a Latin fighter, right?
I think he was from South America somewhere. Matter of fact, listen, Panama. He's not from Panama. He's somewhere. He's Central America. He was from Central America somewhere.
Yeah.
But you'll find out. But anyway, that was a crazy guy, though. I don't know why I brought him up, though. I just said him and he got turned out to drugs too.
Yeah.
So him and the Hawk, they got, they fell victim to drugs and shit,
Yeah.
I'm quite sure there's other fighters too.
But yeah, I come on at 2 to 4 every day, bro.
All right. I ain't know what was going on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
over here every day, Monday through Friday.
I definitely like to talk boxing with you. But yo, before another question before you bail. Another question though before you bail.
Yeah.
When I'm using this references a lot because they say Crawford's too little, so I use Duran highly to show and prove like, yo, he jumped up too, and he knocked out the man who knocked out, who knocked him out. He knocked out Iran Barkley, right? So what I'm saying is Iran Barkley at that time, he had to be the man because he knocked out the man, Hitman Hearns.
Yeah, knocked Hearns out. Yeah.
Do you remember all the champs in that division at that time? That was like.
Yeah, I got the name though. Not to interrupt you, Mayorga,
that crazy ass guy. I like him, man. That crazy ass guy right there.
What you were saying about Duran went up and knocked Barkley out?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like how many champions was at that time? You know what I mean? How many was Hagler in that 168 class too, right? He was at that 160.
160. Hagler fought at 160.
I meant to say 160. So
Yeah,
Hagler was the other champion.
Yeah, Hagler was.
So Hagler was. No, bro. Look. Hagler was the champion, and then at the same time, Iran Barkley was the champion, and Duran took the belt.
Duran and Barkley. Let me see.
Duran took the belt, his belt though. So
yeah, I don't
Duran
know
wasn't. I thought he wasn't. I thought it was for the belt though.
Hagler was undisputed at 160.
Yeah, at one point in time, probably after he beat Duran, right? Because Duran had a belt now. He knocked out Iran Barkley. He took his belt. So if Hagler beat Duran, he took the belt.
I'll get ready to tell you in a minute. I don't think.
Okay, you looking it up? You looking it up?
Duran and Barkley. I don't think they was at 160 though. I don't know. That's a good. You just started a good question.
Let's see, because I was doing my research today, and I thought they said 160.
Title fight.
You were able to get online?
Oh, you know what? That was
after
Hagler wasn't champion then. That was after Sugar Ray took the belt from Hagler, right?
Nah, brother. No.
Duran and Barkley fought in 1989. Wait a minute.
They got it wrong, bro. They got it wrong. They got that wrong. Because remember, Hagler quit after that. Right? Didn't he quit? I thought he quit after the Sugar Ray fight.
He retired. Yeah, he retired.
Yes. So sometimes
Duran and Barkley was for the title. Hagler was retired by then when Duran and Barkley fought.
Nah, brother. No, brother. No. Because I thought Duran fought Hagler right after he fought. Am I wrong? I thought he fought Hagler right after he fought Iran Barkley.
No, Duran and Hagler was before Barkley, way before Barkley.
Okay. This is why I'm trying to ask some questions to get the knowledge.
Yeah, that was before.
Before
Duran fought Barkley, Hagler had retired.
All right. So what year was that? What year was that when they fought them?
Duran and Barkley.
Yeah.
1989.
Okay.
Let me ask you this before you go. What you think about the Hagler and Sugar Ray fight, though? Who you think won that one? Hagler and Sugar Ray.
You know Sugar Ray, you know how to do his thing with you know what I mean, looking nice in front of these judges and shit. So you know what I mean, doing last little flashy thing, little Browns, you know, made him a favorite. But I'm mad at Hagler because he he didn't really switch. Remember, he stayed orthodox, and then he was doing better southpaw.
I don't know why he did that, man. That orthodox stuff. He never did that before. He switched, but he never started out orthodox like that before that.
You know what I think? You know what I think got to him? You know how these boxers says, "I'm gonna beat you at your own game." I think Hagler tried to beat Sugar Ray at his own game.
Yep, that's it. You hit the button on the nose with that, man. That's what I think happened. Yep.
Yeah, because that's not regular Hagler right there. You know Hagler.
No, yeah, he never did that. Never. And he started out fighting orthodox and lost all those rounds and never caught up. You ain't gonna catch up with Sugar Ray. You're not gonna catch up with Sugar Ray. This guy is. Once he get a lead, that's it.
Yeah, man. Sugar Ray was bad, man.
He was smart.
Sugar Ray was. Hey, good brother, can you?
He said after the fight, he said my fighter wasn't a better fighter, but he was a smarter fighter. That's why he beat him. That's what Dundee said.
Man, that's a heavy statement. That's a heavy statement, man. Like you punch harder than me, you're a better fighter than me, but I'm smarter than you. Wow. Yep. Wow. Angelo Dundee said that. Angelo Dundee said that after the fight.
After the fight, yeah.
That's a powerful jewel right there, man. Hey, thanks for sharing that with me, man. That's a powerful jewel right there. That teaches me a whole lot right there. Like, nah, man.
Yeah. And Sugar Ray didn't get Hagler that rematch, did he?
Nah, that's how Sugar Ray was on it though. He didn't want to give Duran that fight immediately after the second fight.
Yeah, because he knew Hagler wasn't gonna make those same mistakes again.
And Duran would come back pissed off and more hungrier.
Oh yeah, Duran would have definitely beat him if they would have fought the third time. But they did.
It's one thing. Yeah, that was later. That was later though. But
that didn't mean nothing. That third night. But I'm saying, well, we talking about another third fight like 80-81. Right after the first.
Yeah, I know, but I think this guy would be like a little bit more pissed off because like me and you, like say we from Jersey. All right, the East Coast gonna be mad at us, but he has a whole country that's pissed off at him.
Right.
No mas. Panama's known for no mas.
Yeah, the whole country was pissed off at him, man. He lost kind of stuff.
Man. No, he was pissed off.
Remember that lightweight run through the 70s? He was a huge name in boxing. And the hands of stone, talking about no mas. People was like, what? The hands of stone quit?
Yeah,
that was like unbelievable. I mean, this man in the 70s was like destroying people. The hands of stone and just quit. It was crazy. But he worked his way back. The Iran Broccoli was one of them. No, it was before the Iran Broccoli. It was who it was? It was Iran Broccoli's man. Look, do you remember that story? Iran Broccoli, and he had his man. There was men's and shit. He used to go. His man had the car, and he would always pick Iran Broccoli. More had a car, and he would always pick Iran Broccoli up. They go to the boxing. It was boys. That was his man. And so when Duran, I know a little something, but look, when Duran beat his ass, beat him so bad that he was never the same fighter. Yeah, never was the same. Never was the same.
His career was over. But look what
friends. You're right, 100% right.
But look what Iran Broccoli did that was really thorough that Jamel Charlo didn't do. You beat my man. Now I want revenge. Fight me now. Jamel Charlo ran to Canelo. You know what I mean? He ain't fight there like, yo, you said you invited me to your private part in front of my girl, in front of the whole world, right? Yep. You knocked out my man. He's not taking that. That's crazy though, brother. But anyway, I don't want to get off such a little. But look, Iran Broccoli, he wasn't nothing like that. Iran Broccoli from the Bronx, G. Iran Broccoli from the. Like, he wasn't like, you be my man. You want to fight me? Yes. He was on that quick. So same thing.
Remember that.
Same thing. So after he fought Iran Broccoli wasn't the same.
I know. Same thing with David Moore. You're right. Yeah.
David Moore was a bad guy. Yeah, that was a bad guy. And I think he died too. He died. David Moore died
Oh yeah, Davey Moore dead. You're right. He sure
He
did.
died. What that was a car accident, I think.
Accident or car accident or something. Like
Yeah, so he died right after that,
that.
and that's why.
Car.
Yeah,
One
so
of them.
I'm not sure, but that's just that's more of a reason why his man want revenge now.
I know.
You did that to my man, dude.
That he had that accident. Yeah.
Yeah, like if that's my man, I want honor for my man. Let's fight. Let's set it up, man. You took my man out. Come on. No, that's that's the only honorable thing to do.
I know.
But some people don't move with honor, though. You know.
Yeah, not nowadays. These fighters now, I don't know. I gotta get out of here, bro. But make sure you come back, man. But I'm gonna check your channel.
Yeah. Oh, that's love too. I appreciate it, though, bro. It's a little small time channel, but
Did
you growing though, G.
You dropped your link in there, didn't you, in the chat?
Well, that's the channel. My name right there on the thing right there.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm gonna check you out too. You got?
I appreciate the support.
On or anything, or just?
No. I don't know how to do the live stuff though, bro. I wish I did, but
stuff like that.
Yeah, I just do videos until I figure out how to do the live thing.
Yeah, I'll find you. Yeah.
But I appreciate conversating with you, bro. Thanks. I love this boxing talk, bro. So I appreciate you. Anytime you're around, I don't mind pulling up, G. You know what I mean?
Monday, Friday, 2 to 4. Okay.
All right, I got you, big bro. I got you, big bro.
With the how to do the live thing too. Okay.
Oh, that's a blessing. That's a blessing, bro. I appreciate you. Oh, you have a blessed day, bro.
Yeah, you too.
All right, peace.
Bro. Okay.
Blessings. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Great show today. Great show. And well, tomorrow is Saturday. We'll be back Monday. Okay, that was a great panel right there. Okay. That was Pound for Pound King. His link is in there. Okay. We had Aunt McQueen, Define Arnie, the legendary Thomas Hill up here today. But it's Friday. We'll be back Monday with another Cast Sports. Appreciate everybody that came through today and for the week. Okay. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights. Barrios, you got to win this fight. You got to win, Barrios. Anybody got Victor Conte's number? I want to put him and Barrios together. So Barrios can get some extra help or something. I don't know. You got to win, Barrios. Everybody have a great weekend. You got to win, Barrios.